Hello and welcome. I'm Melinda Akinlami. On today's edition of Arthouse, we'll be bringing you the concluding part of our trip to Ghana. Let me refresh your memory. It's the Beyond Boundaries exhibition which took place in Accra. Remember I told you that the Ghanaians had a little surprise up their sleeves? Yes, for all those that thought that the art scene there was ruled by expatriates, well, you're in for a big surprise. As the scorching sun finally embraces the soothing evening breeze, a crowd gathers, while others are still making their way in. And to erase the thought about the art community being ruled by expatriates, this audience wasn't purely white or black, but a blend of colors, young as they were old, coffee as they were cream, listening eagerly while they meet the brains behind the project.
The idea is ECOWAS. When we talk about ECOWAS, we're talking about boundaries and breaking these boundaries. And why not? Because we need to see other people doing other things. Nobody is an island. Ghana, we know everything which goes around here, but Ghana is not given the opportunity of seeing what is in the next country. So this is a very good eye-opener for Ghanaians and people living in Ghana to see that just unless in the next two countries, there are people who are creative people, and that this is a very good opportunity for them to see that.
It's a wonderful opportunity for us as a cultural institution because it's important that we show what is happening around the world in Ghana, as well as take what Ghana is doing to the rest of the world. This is the first, and we've had several sort of interactions with Nigeria on several fronts. Our institution works with several sort of arts institutions also in Nigeria, but this is the first for us, and I'm hoping that the artists who are coming here will also get to meet other artists. The artists who are here in Ghana will also get to meet the Nigerian art community so that we start doing more and more together.
It's about time we break the boundaries that divide us in the area of art. The perception that there is a way the Ghanaian art is, there's a way the Nigerian art is. We actually want to break that, so that you can see what we are from Nigeria and you be the judge of what you see.
They have met the men, now it's time to meet their merchandise. So the chairman of the Visual Arts Society of Nigeria, Mr. Sami Olagbaju, with the wind beneath their wings, ushers the guests in to see the much anticipated show.
Art has got many dimensions and has no boundaries. So, Beyond Boundaries is an appropriate title for an exhibition of this nature. And so, I know that Kofi is very happy to show people what artists beyond our shores, beyond these shores, can do.
As they step into the hall, they are greeted by two works. On the left is Tayo's The Birth, which reminds you of something from the Greek mythology. But that was not intended. His sojourn with lines and dots brought him to this final destination, which is always unknown from the start.
I start with dots, lines and motifs. I really don't have I hardly start with any sketch. I focus on my canvas, and whatever I see on the canvas, I follow it to a logical conclusion. Then I sign up when I feel the work is matured enough. And basically, I don't even title my work until I finish it. Then I study it for like some few days, and I give it the title that fits the work. So basically, I'm not projected by inspiration. I'm more projected. I'm more driven by what I see on the canvas and the lines that I follow. So I follow the flow of my lines. The work behind us is titled The Bat. It's a bit biblical in the sense that it was an extraction from the Bible. I don't know, there is this story in the Bible, if you've read the story, where King Solomon had to judge between two women who were laying claim to a child, and through their body and countenance he was able to decipher who the real owner of the child was. That was what inspired this. But it was not like it was not built to project any particular philosophy. It was just following my line.
And by the right, light and shade interplay in Kehinde Osho's art piece about a child's search. He tells us more about it.
I love the forms. If you look at those work, you see the forms as in the shapes. You know, I like rendering shapes. You understand me? So I enjoy painting forms. I enjoy contrast painting. My style in that aspect is called the area where I use darker tone and a lighter tone to make a statement. So I use strong darker tone against lighter tone, and my colors preferably I use hard colors. I enjoy it, or perhaps I would say it's a kind of a process for me now. Initially it wasn't the brown tones, but there's a kind of gradation, a kind of movement, and a kind of flow in my colors. But presently I'm working on the brown skin.
Go right inside, then an array hits you. One of the works you can't miss is this one. And there are many others where that came from, which I christened the Lip series.
I decided to make it, to do it in my own way, to make it like my identity. What inspired those particular kind of paintings is my environment in Lagos. I see a lot of women in Lagos, they're always moving too fast. And they talk a lot. You know, women in Lagos, they talk a lot. Their power is in their lips, in their mouth. You understand? Those are the little things I've noticed. That is why I decided to pick those particular aspects. Most of my lips are women's lips, not men's lips anyway. So I noticed that women talk a lot, and I know that they are always in that, they're always very busy. But in Ghana, I think it's a little bit different. They are a little bit more relaxed. If you look at my works, I use particle dust to prepare my canvas. And the reason I do that, I've been doing it for years. I have come to see that if you keep this work, maybe for the next 50 years, 100 years, it will not crack. Because for these paints, these pigments to crack, it means that the dust particles have to separate, which is not possible. So that's why I've decided to use that. It's an experiment I made so many years ago. I have works of over 20, 25 years, and they are still the way they are.
Fun, inspiration, and knowledge. That's what you get from readers, writers, publishers, and the entire book world. Get some interesting reviews, events, interviews, and latest updates from the book world. The Channel's Book Club, inspiring you one page at a time.
In 1992, he left Ife for the University of Wisconsin-Madison to study for a PhD in art history. He completed his PhD in 1995 and has taught Wellesley College, Gettysburg College, and the University of Colorado, Denver before joining the faculty of UT Austin in Denver.
They're not just about the art, they're about what Ghana is. So a lot of our programs don't just look at art, they look at our historic memories, commemorating a lot of events. So it's actually, some of them are educational, so they're good for families to visit. So Ghanaians do come, and we always draw a new group of Ghanaians each time we have programs. Today I'm happy to welcome the Nigerian community.
Nigeria is big, that's one. You have a more populace. But unfortunately for us, we don't have a lot of patronage from the private sector. But I can say that most of the collectors in Nigeria have collected all Ghanaian works already. That I know. They know all the artists. But publicly, I don't think we have been able to break this type of things for them to know what we do. Sometimes it is because trying to cross the border. Personally, if you ask me to drive through the road and come to Nigeria, I won't do that because of the hustle that I pass through. I prefer to take air, and then the air also is very expensive, and a lot of artists cannot afford that. But also the idea also that new places like ours is not a gallery per se. It's a cultural center where we want to bridge the gap between countries and break these boundaries and say, hey, you know what? These are Ghanaians, these are Togolese, but we all have something in common. So let's look at what we have in common so that we can live this thing as ECOWAS.
They have all brought it for everyone to see and appreciate how fast the art community is growing and the new things they have up their sleeves.
I looked at our society and I noticed that a lot is lacking, especially in our tradition, because you see, these are drummers. Drumming has been one thing that has existed over the years in our country, and it's still existing, even though there's so much foreign influence in our music, in our tradition and all that. The way our women dress these days, I don't know how it's going to be in the next 5 years. A girl of 18, it comes out on the street, what she's wearing, you will feel, where is she coming from? Is there no mother in the house or something that she'll be able to say, come back here, go and change? All these are influence. You understand? All in the name of modernism. You understand? But yes, I feel that we should be able to realize that the legacies we leave today will live after us, and then the children to come, it will also affect them. We have our culture. The way we dress. The way, yes, we can dress flamboyantly, but not so much of nudity that is going on today. So I feel that something needs to be done. We should preserve our culture, we should preserve our tradition, so that it's not, the decay involved right now is so much that a lot of children cannot even speak their own native language. And I don't think that is right.
I started it this autumn here. Like you see the flight of, you see some, mostly in the northern states, even in the western states in Nigeria, you see mothers, even here, even mostly Africans, you see mothers backing the baby, covering them up, even in the hot sun. The people living suffocating inside the veil and everything. They can't really talk. So that's why I made that impression. You see the other baby trying to pull out that veil that's covering him or her. They've all worked hard enough, at least. If anybody coming into the exhibition will really see that we really brought something across the border, not just anything, any kind of art.
they will really know that really this set of Nigerian artists. We are young artists, but we are moving mountains.
Others are still experimenting with new styles and techniques.
I have Babagba, which is painted on leaf. It's also a foreign surface to painting, but there are things I would like to experiment on, like the Gentleman 1 and 2, as the canvas are, shifted a bit. Yeah, they're just experiments, and my painting comes out from the feelings I go through at times when you see liters of this, different things, and you want to combine and actually create something out of it. Something different.
For quite some time now, I've been experimenting a lot, and I'm still experimenting. Right now, I use basically lines, motifs, forms, and texture. I've veered into installations and other forms of art. So I'm still at the experimental stage, but I've moved beyond the strokes, brush and line technique. So most of my work you see now has got heavy lines, motifs and vibrant colors. And I'm still moving, I'm still progressing. So it's a continuum, it's a continuous thing.
Some of the new things that I am doing is what of course I will show. And I have some few old works, but I also like to think of posterity, both for myself as a career and the career that I. So some of those ones I like to have them kept, and bring out something something new rather to see the impact and because for instance, whatever it is that you do, people see, they talk about, comment about it, then the feedback makes you know, this direction you're going, the right direction. Are you actually making the impact that you intentionally want to make and all that? So that's why I brought this.
Look around, everybody had been able to depict, they express themselves, delineate what they feel, what they want to do in different ways. And this is just an approach that I used to. It's not different from what they've done. What I have only done is the interpretation. The approaches they individually has done is different. So my approach and the interpretation is also different, but it's still the same art, observing and putting into consideration the various elements and principles of art.
Been working on this style for over 10 years now. I started with just the monochrome aspect, but later I just began to fix in newsprint, which is mixed media. And one of the other works you can see that I used leaf to make some attachment to the painting. But actually I'm trying to work on ideas of imprint of your thought. When you look at the works, you need so many things going within your mind as an artist. And using of materials has to be incorporated into your design to give you your own trademark also.
As the curtain falls on the 2-week show, it doesn't matter if they can't say they came, they saw, and they conquered. What really matters is that as young artists, they were able to achieve one feat: take Nigerian contemporary art beyond the limits of borders.
life has just got easier. You stay connected to Channels TV, where news and innovations are shaping our world. Simply log on to channelstv.com to get the breaking news. Browse the homepage according to what matters to you. Tap on the extended coverage of business, sports, politics, lifestyle, infotech, entertainment, health, world news, and lots more. Click on the live link and see the news in real time. Do you want to watch the latest video of the day? It's just a click away. Friend us on Facebook, YouTube, follow us on Twitter, Google+, participate in Channels TV poll, and share your comments. It's a website you can talk to. Your voice will be heard.
ChannelsTV.com. The news at your fingertips.
Moyo Okediji was born in Lagos, Nigeria. He had his primary education in Ile-Ife and proceeded to Olivet Baptist High School, Oyo, for his secondary school education. He returned to Ife for his university education in 1973 and was awarded a BA with honors in fine arts in 1977. He received his MFA from the University of Benin in 1982 and returned to the University of Ife, where he became a lecturer. Here, he founded and led the Honor Artist in Ile-Ife, teaching classes in painting, drawing, ceramics, and art history. In 1992, he left Ife for the University of Wisconsin-Madison to study for a PhD in art history, where he completed his PhD in 1995. During his time in the United States, he was the curator of African and Oceanic arts at the Denver Art Museum. He organized exhibitions of historic and contemporary African art, published essays on the collection, and curated the Oceanic and African galleries in the new Daniel Lives Kind building of the Denver Art Museum. Okediji has also exhibited his own works as an artist in several museums and galleries in Africa, Europe, and North America. He has published books and essays including The Shattered God, Yoruba Forms in 20th Century American Art, and African Renaissance, Old Images, New Forms in Yoruba Art.
Next week on Arthouse, we take a look at one of the largest art collections probably in West Africa.
The use of art is very, very important to me.
So tune in next week. That we've come to the end of another exciting edition of the show. I hope you had a fun time with us though. Don't forget to tune in next week for more artifacts. I'm Melinda Akinami. Bye-bye.